Thank you, Mac. All right, we'll call to order the regular council meeting for the town of St. Andrews, Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026 at 8:30 p.m. at 6:30 p.m., sorry. W.C. O'Neill Arena Complex in the council chambers. So the first item is recording of attendance, and all are present, including Mr. Henderson, who has joined us online. Thank you, Mr. Henderson, again. B is the land recognition of the Beskoto Makati Nation. So we welcome you to the unceded and traditional territory of the Beskoto Makati, or the Passamaquoddy people, under the Linguistic umbrella. C is the approval of the agenda. So we recommend that the agenda of the 2804 regular council meeting be approved as presented. And I need a mover, Deputy Mayor Neal, and a seconder, Councillor Harland. Are there any additions? Not seeing any. The vote. All those in favor for the agenda as presented, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Disclosure of a conflict of interest? I don't see any. Presentations? There are no presentations except for, we do have Mr. Henderson online for the approval of bylaw. So the next is the approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. We had a lot of meetings, so we'll go through them as quickly as we can. So the minutes of the 26/03/16 special council meeting on Monday, March the 16th of 2026. We recommend that the minutes of the special 26/03/16 special council meeting of Monday, March the 16th, 2026 at 5 p.m. be adopted as presented. Need a mover? Councillor Heenan, seconder. Councillor Harland. Any further discussion, council? All right, question. All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. So the minutes of the 26/03/16 special council meeting, which is a public presentation of Monday, March the 16th, 2026, at 6 p.m. be adopted as presented. I need a mover. We need a mover. Deputy Mayor Neal. Seconder, Councillor Blanchard. Any errors or omissions? Okay, question. All those in favor for accepting them, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. The minutes of the 26/03/16 regular council meeting of Monday, March the 16th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. be adopted as presented. I need a mover. Councillor Heenan, Councillor Blanchard, seconder. No, sorry, Councillor Bennett, sorry. I said Blanchard, but I meant Bennett. So sorry, Mr. Councillor Bennett. Any additions, errors? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. The minutes of the 26/03/16 special council meeting, which was a public hearing of Tuesday, March the 24th, 2026 at 6 p.m. be adopted as presented. Mover, Councillor Gumashal. Seconder, Councillor. Sure. Because there's 1616.
The motion has got a typo.
Okay, so this one is 24 or the other one is 24?
This one is 2-4.
24, okay. So we need to change that.
And the next one, sorry.
Okay, so and the next one is 24 as well? Okay. So Gumashal and Heenan with that one slight change. So any further additions or errors? Okay, all those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded? Okay, so Counselor Blanchard abstains. Okay. So the minutes of the 260324 special council meeting of Tuesday, March the 24th, 2026, at 7:30 PM be adopted as presented. Mover, Counselor Bennett. Seconder, Counselor Gumashal. Any errors or omissions besides the date, the number? Has to be a 2-4 instead of a 16. That's a minor change. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? And Counselor Blanchard abstains because he was not here. So carried. And the last one is the minutes of the 260330 special council meeting of Monday, March the 30th, 2026. That the minutes of the 260330 special council meeting of Monday, March the 30th, 2026 at 6 PM be adopted and as presented. Mover, Heenan. Seconder, Counselor Harland. Any errors or omissions to be added? Question, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Communications. We have an EBC on page 28. Just the list of the correspondence of those names. You don't have to do anything with that, right?
No.
So we'll forward on from that. Communications. Staff reports, Mr. Spear.
Sure. Thank you, Worship. I'm grateful to be able to present the April 2026 Chief Administrative Officer Report. I hope everyone had a good Easter weekend and was able to enjoy the festivities, including the Kiwanis annual Easter egg hunt at the fire hall. As of the writing of this report, the weather looks questionable, so hopefully it turns around, we get some sun, and everyone can enjoy early spring weather. As we wind down towards the May election, agendas are increasingly focused on items council can finalize before the end of this term. One item before you tonight for second reading is the proposed noise bylaw. We are changing the enforcement approach by relating it to decibels rather than prescribed noises to strengthen fairness and enforcement. The bylaw is also being extended to Bayside and Shamrock to provide a heightened level of service in those areas. We wish to welcome Nieva Palmer to staff as the CFO treasurer. As part of that appointment, Council will consider a resolution that, after 21 years, 5 months, and 27 days, removes this from my duties. I will continue mentoring her over the coming months and will use this opportunity to complete deeper analysis moving forward that has not been carried out. Before you tonight is the first reading of an amendment to the Tourism Accommodation Levy bylaw, which provide Council an opportunity to review the allocation between tourism development and tourism marketing. This has been discussed for several months, and following a recent staff-led meeting, it was agreed the matter should be brought forward to Council for consideration and debate. After a couple of years of drafting and consultation, and the Council's official hearing of objections last month for the zoning bylaw, staff are bringing the municipal plan and zoning bylaw back, not for readings, but to get further direction on how you wish to proceed. Administration. I wish to congratulate Council as well as staff at the Wellness Center and to thank Horizon Health for the recent funding announcement supporting expanded services and renovations to their current space to better meet the needs of more service providers. This is a tremendous opportunity for the community, including the addition of 3 physicians. It reflects council's commitment to addressing local health needs and your work that made this a priority for the provincial government. This process has been 50 years in the making and will increase access to healthcare for many years to come. Congratulations to the board of Passamaquoddy Lodge on the recent funding announcement from Premier Holt. In recognition of this organization's hard work, the long-held goal of building a new facility is moving forward, with funding in place to support construction that meets current standards. With the busy tourism season quickly approaching, we still have postings for various seasonal positions within the town. Please visit our website or contact Town Hall for details. We have both short and longer term seasonal opportunities. At the last meeting, council formed an ad hoc advisory committee to provide recommendations on grants. Due to other commitments, we were unable to meet before tonight, but we will meet later this week and bring suggestions to council in a couple of weeks. Later in the evening, there is a budget request to purchase 3 pieces of equipment for the skate park, all half pipes. This was also the first time we were able to use the group procurement services through Canoe Procurement. The equipment is all aluminum, while most other providers work with concrete. The lightness of aluminum gives us more flexibility to move it around to meet users' needs, or if the park continues to expand, to reconfigure it as required. With the amount of snow this year, increasing plowing has also led to more damage along roads and shoulders within the former town. Once temperatures improve, Public Works will also make the rounds in late April to repair seasonal damage. It's that time of year when both the water bills and newsletter will be released. Meters are currently being read and should be ready to go in 3 to 4 weeks. With the transition from existing staff to newly trained staff, the process is somewhat slower. Services. The winter parking ban is now over until fall. We thank all those who are in compliance and appreciate the struggle to find off-street facilities. However, it makes the removal of snow tremendously easier and allows the removal of piled snow from designated streets to keep our narrow roads open. Over the winter, staff arranged for all the windows and shutters to be replaced at Bayside Hall. During the replacement, several sills were in need of repair, which were addressed as well. The Ross Memorial Library has had a busy month with several activities, from visiting children's authors to book clubs, adult crafts, and grab-and-go craft bags with instructions and materials for a craft project. Staff have been doing outstanding work to enhance literacy and social connections across our region. Public Works is in the in-between season, removing snow equipment to begin spring work and then putting it back on when Mother Nature has other plans. They have been busy with construction, including work on the local RCMP detachment, repairing and preparing picnic tables and benches, and starting a full replacement of the main washrooms at the arena. They also have a full slate of spring projects ahead, in addition to the normal duties associated with the season. Finally, they have purchased new portable bleachers that need to be assembled for the upcoming event season. As a reminder, leaf bag pickup, including small limbs, will begin the week of April 7th, so this week. We will also continue large limb pickup beginning at the end of April. This service is by appointment only. In conclusion, spring is coming, I promise. With local government elections only a month away and nominations closing this week on the 10th, you may have questions about what to expect of a mayor or councillor for St. Andrews, or more generally, what the role entails. CHCAO, in partnership with the Southwest New Brunswick Service Commission, hosted a webinar on April the 2nd. It was recorded and will be made available on our site. The session discusses municipal roles in New Brunswick. If you have questions about what the role means specifically in St. Andrews, either the clerk or I would be happy to meet with any interested parties to describe the process. We are compiling names for the townwide yard sale map at Town Hall, which takes place on May the 9th. Please stop by to be included. Paddlefest is 6 weeks away and the official kickoff to summer, or spring possibly. Respectfully submitted, Chris Spear, Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. All right.
Your Worship, sorry, I just wanted to make one other, I didn't have it written here, but with the new CFO treasurer started, we're starting to work on our getting her up to date on the monthly report, so there wasn't any available for this
Today.
thing. I'm really hoping in 2 weeks, but definitely for for the first meeting in May. But we're starting to actively go through them now as I teach her the processes and things, so they'll be coming.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. All right, so now we need to accept all the attached staff reports and financial reports as presented. So I need a mover. Yes, sir. Okay, sorry, that was my mistake. So we will recommend that we accept the staff reports. There is no financial report possibly in May. So sorry, Counselor Weir, that I said that. It's the way it was written. But anyway, we will accept all attached staff reports as presented. I need a mover. We need a mover. Counselor Harland. Seconder, Counselor Heenan, sorry. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of accepting the staff reports only? Aye. Contrary-minded? Carried. And we move on to introduction, consideration, and passing of bylaws and motions. And the first one up is Finance and Administration, and that's Counselor Harland, I believe. No, Counselor Heenan. Sorry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Reference number FA 260435, appointment of treasurer for the town of St. Andrews. At the January 19th, 2026 regular council meeting, authorized the CAO to recruit a treasurer following the departure of the assistant treasurer and to assume some responsibility from the CAO. After a nationwide search, Nia Palmer has been hired to fill that role effective March 30th. Under Section 7, Bracket 1 of Local Government Act, the council of every local government shall appoint a clerk, a treasurer, and an auditor. Council must complete the appointment by resolution. The motion, Your Worship, is that the council of the town of St. Andrews appoint Nia Neva Palmer, effective March 30th, 2026, to the position of treasurer as required under 71(1) of the Local Governance Act at an annual salary within the pay scale set by council and under the terms of the employee contract for this position. I so move this.
Thank you, Counselor Heenan. We need a seconder. Counselor Gomichelle was there first. Any further discussion, Council? Okay, ready for the question? All those in favor, say aye. Contrary minded? Carried. And welcome aboard, Nieva. Okay, the second one is Counselor Heenan as well.
Thank you, Your Worship. FA 260434, check signing authority and update for the town of St. Andrews. Council has hired and appointed Ms. Palmer as the new treasurer for the town of St. Andrews. An update to the signing authorities for the town is required. The motion one is that be it resolved that the accounts in the name of the town of St. Andrews, herewithin called the corporation, be kept at the Bank of Nova Scotia, hereinafter called the bank. And the mayor or deputy mayor, together with the CAO or treasurer, are hereby authorized for, in the same name of the corporation, to sign, make, draw, accept, endorse, and deliver checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange, orders for payment of money, and such agreement and in instruments as may be necessary for useful in connection with the operations of the said accounts. That any one of the above mentioned officers is hereby authorized for and in the name of the corporation to endorse and transfer to the bank for deposit or discount with collection by the bank, but for the credit of the corporation only, checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange, orders for payment of money, and others instruments to arrange, settle, balance, and certify all books and accounts with the bank, and to sign receipts and vouchers. that the signature card for all accounts of the corporation shall be signed by the above-mentioned officers filed with the bank and shall be in the following form: Kate Kathleen Akagi, Mayor, or Steve Neal, Deputy Mayor, and Chris Spear, CAO, or Nivea Palmer, Treasurer. I so move.
Thank you, Counselor Heenan. We need a seconder. Counselor Gumashell. Any further discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye, Worship.
Contrary minded? Carried. And the next one is Counselor Bennett with Public Works and Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. Reference number PWPS 260423, subject bylaw 2601, noise bylaw, second reading. And the background reads, Council gave.
All right.
We'll try that again, Your Worship. And the background reads, Council gave leave for first reading of the proposed noise bylaw update in March 16 regular council meeting. Attached is a draft update with an item in Schedule C exempting parties having an exemption authorized by the province of New Brunswick, so long as the person or party is acting within the terms and conditions of such approval. Staff recommends council give leave of second reading in its entirety. A summary of the bylaws provided for the reading. And the motion reads that the Council of the Town of St. Andrew grant leave for second reading in its entirety by summary of bylaw 26-01 noise bylaw, and I so move.
There's a summary there on.
Microphone on. Sorry, Flo. It was carried. Bylaw 26-01, a bylaw regulating noise and nuisance for the town of St. Andrews. This is the second reading and this is the summary of it. The purpose of this bylaw is to regulate noise levels in the town of St. Andrews and to set out provisions regarding noise level limits, monitoring prohibitions, exemptions, and enforcement. The proposed bylaw may be examined by on the town website, townofstandrews.ca, or in person at the town hall between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, located at 212 or 212 Water Street, St. Andrews, New Brunswick. The bylaw contains the following parts and sections. Part 1, title and definitions. Title and definitions. Part 2, general provisions. Continuous sound in residential developments. Continuous sound in commercial developments. Non-continuous sound in any development. Outdoor speaker systems. Application for exemptions. Part 3 is offenses and penalties. Part 4 is repeal and enactment, bylaw repealed and enactment. Schedule A, general noise prohibitions. Schedule B, noise prohibitions by time and place. And Schedule C, exclusions from the noise prohibition. It doesn't say that passed or whatever. It's okay to go. Thank you. And the next one is,
Your Worship, sorry. I think we had a discussion earlier that we haven't had a public consultation meeting on this.
okay,
It's not required in the Local Governance Act. And we've had zero feedback from the public on it. I mean, it's been announced and things. but I just wanted to know if you wanted us to host something possibly before one of the next two meetings, if people are interested, or just to put something out on social media saying this is going out and see if we get any feedback, or open to suggestions.
Council, what is your preference? Social media? Anybody else? I only have one for social, so. Any other?
Nope, that was just, okay.
Social would be fine. Okay, social? All right, so the next is Public Works and Public Safety Committee Chair, Deputy Mayor Neal.
Thank you, Mayor Akji. This is reference number PWPS 260425, dated April 1st, 2026, and the subject is the purchase of pedestrian signals. So in 2026 budget, $12,000 was set aside for the purchase of one set of pedestrian crossing signals. However, we have identified two locations that are in urgent need of them. The first on King Street by the two schools, and here in front of the arena on Reed Avenue. So staff is asking permission to go over budget and purchase a second set, but at a lower cost of $8,500 plus HST. So the motion before us reads that the council of the town of St. Andrews approves an unbudgeted capital purchase of $8,500 towards the installation of a second set of pedestrian crossing signals, and I so move.
Seconder, excuse me, Counselor Bennett. Any further discussion on this, council? Not seeing any, we'll go for the question. All those in favor of the two traffic lights, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Next is Economic Development and Business Culture Committee Chair, Counselor Weir.
Reference number EDC 260405.
Your microphone, please.
EBC 260405, April 7th, 2026, bylaw 2301-A, tourism accommodation levy bylaw amendment. Council has discussed amending bylaw 23-01, tourism accommodation levy bylaw to update the distribution split of proceeds between the town of St. Andrews and the service provider currently designated as Explore St. Andrews. Concerns have been shared in a letter by Cole Sheridan, General Manager at the Algonquin Resort, attached, and council had a discussion with representatives from Explore St. Andrews on March 16th. The current funding distribution is 1/3 or 33.33% rate to the town and 2/3 or 66.66% rate to the service provider. The attached bylaw amendment includes a funding distribution of 1/2 or 50% to the town and 1/2 or 50% to the service provider. Where the distribution is mentioned in the body of the bylaw, paragraph 10.4, as well as Schedule A, 3 readings are required to pass the bylaw. If council discussion leads to a change in the distribution, this can be done by amending the motion with the desired percentages, and changes will be reflected in the draft provided for the next reading. Accordingly, the motion is that council give leave for first reading by title only of bylaw 23-01-A, a bylaw to amend bylaw 23-01, tourist accommodation levy bylaw. I so move.
Thank you, Counselor Weir. Seconder? Counselor Bennett, discussion on this, council? Further discussion? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess I would start just by saying, I think, again, the fact that this budget for Explore St. Andrews has been set for 2026, I would be in favor of either, again, deferring this to the next council by either defeating this tonight or, again, tabling it for the next council. Again, I think it's going to be in their purview to decide if they want to move forward with this, what they want to set the percentages as for 2027. So that would be my recommendation at the moment.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any further discussion? Counselor Weir?
Yes, I have no problem with moving it ahead, but I think we have to make sure that we keep in mind, if you read the letter from Mr. Sheridan, as well as the presentation by Explore St. Andrews, it's 100% marketing based. And no consideration for repeat customers, let's say. So someone has to put the infrastructure in place to get people to come back. And since all of their effort is put into getting people here, someone has to keep an eye on the fact that we have infrastructure in place to ensure that they will return. And I recall in the Explore St. Andrews presentation, I had mentioned benches along the, I call Front Street, Water Street. And they said, oh yes, we get that comment all the time from the people off of the tour ships in St. John. So there is two components to marketing. Number one, getting them here, and number two, somehow convincing them to come back. And I just want to make sure that's on the record for the next council so that they don't lose sight of the total marketing picture and just concentrate on getting people here for the first time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Weir. Counselor Blanchard?
Yeah, I would agree with Councillor Neal, where I think this is a discussion and a decision for the next council. But if we're going on the record for things that we want to perhaps put a bug in the ear of the next council, we've had some conversations previously on this, discussions that we've had with Explore St. Andrews. They talked about their marketing campaigns, really like a 3-year campaign to saturate a market. And I think, you know, some of the discussions that we had, I think a 5-year cycle for this makes a lot of sense, where they can have the full 2/3 as it's structured now, 2/3 for Explore St. Andrews of the TALB and 1/3 to the town of St. Andrews for infrastructure, as Councillor Weir had mentioned, for those 3 years of the marketing campaign to fully fund those. And then for the last 2 years of a 5-year cycle, it switches to a 50-50 split to allow us to invest a bit more in the infrastructure to maybe catch up with the new people, the number of new people that Explore St. Andrews has brought to the town, and continue on that cycle. And so we don't get so heavily, we're not constantly bringing new people in, but not investing enough into the infrastructure to support that. So I think a 5-year cycle, 3 laid out like that would be a good way to do things but I think it really is for a future council to have those conversations with Explore St. Andrews. So I would be more in favor of defeating this now and allowing them to return to it at a later date.
Thank you, Counselor Blanchard. Anybody else? Counselor Bennett?
Thank you, Your Worship. I guess, first of all, I'd like to say I fully support what Councillor Weir and Councillor Blanchard have said in both the need for more money to be spent on infrastructure within the community. And we've seen such wonderful applications of the money being spent in town and work being done by town employees. It'd be nice to see even more of what they can do with the small amount of money that we've given them to make tremendous gains in this community. So I would strongly urge, my fellow councillors here tonight to pass this. And I'd even think that doing something like what Councillor Blanchard said, by giving a mandate for 3 years at the 66%, and after the end of 3 years, then adopting the 50-50 model, if that would so please the rest of the councillors to support this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Councillor Heenan.
Thank you. My thoughts are exactly as Councillor Weir is. There is no use of purchasing a car if we don't have gas in it. And I do believe exactly what Councillor Bennett said, that we have seen what money can do for the infrastructure of the town. And I believe that bringing people here is the utmost importance, but we also have to make sure that when they get here, they have the resources, they have the park benches to sit on, they have sidewalks they can walk on, they have things. So I'm neither here nor there on, I will go with however council majority does, but I just want it made for the record that I believe that it needs to be changed. Not in 2026 budget, that's already set, but I believe it does need to be changed. And it doesn't matter if it's this council or the next council, I would hope that they would follow suit. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Anyone else? Councillor Gomichel. Okay, there's a motion to table now. All right, we have to finish the first motion, correct? No, we have to table it. Oh, sorry. And seconded by Deputy Mayor Neal to table this motion.
Just the point of order, Your Worship. Yes, it's okay at any point for someone to table it. Seconded like we did, you discuss. If it's approved to table, though, debate ends
Yes.
on the original motion. That's all. And then it can
Okay,
be brought
so
forward.
first we vote to table this. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Councillor Bennett. Now we go back to the first motion.
No, the first motion.
We don't have to do anything. That's right, because we tabled it. Sorry. Tabled. Okay, all except. All right. Thank you very much, council. Good luck next council. Okay. So. All right, now we are on to Economic Development, Business and Culture Committee Chair, Councillor Weir, for the next one. One page.
Thank you, Your Worship. Reference EBC 260404, April 7th, 2026, letter of support for optometry program. Future St. Stephen contacted staff to advise the University of New Brunswick is seeking letters of support for the establishment of an optometry program at the St. John campus. The proposed program would be developed in partnership with the University of Waterloo and UNB's Integrated Health Initiative. The New Brunswick Association of Optometrists are also supportive of seeing an optometry program in New Brunswick. The program would initially launch with 20 seats and focus on building partnerships with rural communities for student practicums, helping to create a sustainable pipeline of optometry professionals. Staff asked council if they wish to send a letter to the University of New Brunswick leadership making a statement of support for the program. And it gives me a great amount of pleasure to make the motion that council send a letter of support to the University of New Brunswick St. John for the proposed optometry program. I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Weir, seconder. Councillor Harland. Further discussion, council? Yes, Councillor Heenan?
Just one point of reference, university now, if we're going to send a letter, just to be, it needs to be University of New Brunswick. There's no campus specific any longer. It's now just University of New Brunswick. So if we want to be correct, it's just University of New
New
Brunswick.
Brunswick.
Yeah.
So there's
Thank
no campus. All right, thank you for that information. Any further? Okay, question. All those in favor for this? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Okay. So the next one is Recreation and Environment Committee, Chair, Councillor Dumichel.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Reference number RE 260418, dated April 1st and submitted by myself. The subject is purchase of skate park equipment, and the background reads, in the 2026 budget, council approved $54,500 for the purchase of a skate park equipment. Earlier in the year, council authorized the use of group purchasing organizations like Canoe and Kinetic GPO. Canadian Ramp Company is a participating vendor and a national provider of skate park equipment. The attached quote of $54,996.01 taxes in, which is about $3,000 under budget after HST rebate. Sorry. Staff recommends accepting the attached quote for purchase. If accepted, we can expect delivery towards the end of summer. And the motion reads that the council for the town of St. Andrews approves the purchase of 3 pieces of skate park equipment from Canadian Ramp Company in the amount of $54,996.04, including HST, as per quote 90425-ARC. And I'd like to make that motion, Your Worship.
Seconder, please. Councillor Heenan. Any further discussion, council? Yes.
Just a comment
Mr.
is to
Commissioner?
say that it took a number of years to rid our community of our anti-skateboarding bylaw, and not just skateboarding, but also inline skates and scooters. I see inline skates and scooters downtown and at the youth center, and I'm very pleased that we're moving forward with developing the skate park. So, thank you.
Excellent.
Just a comment. Thanks.
Nice, they're under budget. Any further discussion? Ready for the question? All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded? So it's carried. And the next one is Planning and Community Development Committee, Councillor Harland.
Thank you, Mayor Akji. So the reference number is PCD 260406, and the subject is bylaw MP 20-02-03, first reading. The background is as follows. A development application for 246 Water Street was received for the construction of a 2-story, 816 square foot addition to the rear of the building. The addition would largely be garage space, but would include a small office and indoor stair access to an existing apartment. A public presentation was given on Monday, March 16th in a special meeting of council. The Planning Advisory Committee reviewed the file and presented a letter to council, which is attached. PAC wrote in support of the amendment, noting the lack of streetscape impact and the solution provided for aging in place. They also noted the adjacent neighbor could be impacted in that rear view would become a solid wall. A public hearing of objections took place earlier this evening. Staff recommends council grant leave for the first reading by title only of proposed bylaw MP 20-02-03, a bylaw to amend bylaw number MP 20-02. And the motion is as follows, that the council of the town of St. Andrews grant leave for the first reading by title only of proposed bylaw MP 20-02-03, a bylaw to amend bylaw number MP 20-02, and I so move.
Thank you, Councillor Harlan. Seconder? Councillor Blanchard. Anything to add? No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. So read by title only. bylaw number MP 200203. A bylaw to amend bylaw number MP 2002, being the secondary municipal plan bylaw for the town of St. Andrews. Be it enacted by the council and the town of St. Andrews as follows. 1. Bylaw MP 20-02, the secondary municipal plan bylaw for the town of St. Andrews is amended by adding the following Schedule B. And then Schedule C is, do I have to read all of those? Just no. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And so the public of hearings of objections was the 7th day, April 2026. And today is the first day of the reading, which is April the 7th, Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026. 7th day of 2026, April.
And council, sorry, to interrupt, just to keep in mind, we could do 2 readings in the next meeting if you wanted to allow construction to move forward. If
Okay.
that's something that you would like to do, just let us know.
Okay. All right. Is that okay, council? Oh, Counselor Weir, sorry.
Yes, perhaps this information has been presented, but has someone from town office contacted the adjacent neighbor and spoken with them one-on-one
I'll
to
refer to
ensure that they are fully aware of what's happening?
Mr. Spear.
No, they would have received a polling letter, but we can reach out directly if you'd like us to. They would have had a direct mailing to them about the process. But we haven't called them, no.
Well, I just wondered where it was one property, if it wouldn't be the, appropriate thing to do.
So you will do that, Mr. Spear? Thank you. Thank you, Counselor Weir. So that brings us to new business, and there is none. Oh, sorry. Oh, number 2, sorry, I went over it. Proposed municipal plan and zoning bylaws are the next steps, PCD 260405. Yeah,
Want me to lead it?
yeah, I guess so.
I guess I'll speed up the meeting.
Yeah.
So as you know, council, you've gone through first reading of the municipal plan, the next version, and had the hearing of objections, but haven't read in the first reading of the zoning bylaw. Then following the public hearing, a special council meeting was held in chambers a couple of weeks ago to provide council and the public an opportunity for the planners to provide answers to concerns and advise any changes which could provide clarity, more information in the bylaw. And Mr. Henderson, who is on,
Online.
had led that discussion mostly that night. So council has expressed a desire to receive more public engagement and discussion. So we'd just like some direction, what type of engagement would council like to see employed to facilitate this discussion? And I guess, well, maybe the second question is the first one. Does council want to begin the process prior to the election or pause the process until the next council is in place? And then I guess really they should answer number 1 at that point.
Council, what is your wish? Counselor Harland?
Thank you. So the public engagement, I think, is really critical. It's a critical step that we have heard. We may have misjudged a bit in terms of how the public wanted to be engaged. The challenge is, as much as I would like us to continue on, because I think there's some momentum, this really needs to be, the engagement process needs to be involved with the new council, or the new council needs to be involved with the engagement process and needs to hear from residents. One of the things I heard very clearly after the last public consultation was the desire for some back and forth. So often we listen, and we listen with intention, but we don't provide information or we don't ask for clarification. And I think that there is a desire for some more genuine dialogue, which I think would be valuable in terms of moving this file forward. But I believe it needs to be with the new council. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Weir?
Yes, there's no doubt we have to have more engagement. I hate to lose the momentum that we may have, even though it may not be very positive momentum. We do have momentum, good or bad. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a change in council, there's going to be people getting up to speed. And it's very time consuming attending all these meetings of engagement with the community. And I think the meetings should be round table. They should not be presentations where someone's standing up front speaking to the group. Should be sitting around a table discussing the issues. And perhaps one way of doing it would be to get a small group of people, call it an advisory committee. Certainly councillors would be welcome to sit on the advisory committee or attend the meetings, whichever format we could go with, but we would have a nucleus of people that could keep the momentum going and could devote perhaps more time to it than council can, because we have other duties. New council will have other duties plus the learning process, and may lose several months of the momentum that we currently have. But if we could get a small steering committee together that could start going to the 3 wards, having roundtable discussions, having informal meetings, I think we might be able to keep what positive momentum we have going, because we stop now, it's going to be 2 or 3 months before we're really up and running the way we want to be to complete this engagement, public engagement. So just something to think about, talk about, and see if it might be a way of bridging the gap. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Weir. Counselor Gumashell. Oh, sorry, Counselor Heenan, sorry.
Hey,
Your hand's up, but it looks like Counselor Gumashell's
there you
arm.
go. Thank you, Worship. I totally agree with Councillor Weir. I really, selfishly, I hate to lose the momentum both positively and negatively. I hate to lose both the momentums. Either way, it's a positive thing to have the momentum. And I just, I had a letter today from a particular person regarding this. It was nothing hard. It was just a letter. And I think to myself, like we've done all this work. We've had Alex, we've done all of this. We've had the negative things. Absolutely. And we've had the few positive things. And it's like, as you say, it's going to be 6 months before the burners turn back on for this. And I just hate to lose what we've gained, even if it's a small, minute amount we've gained, or we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this. We have gotten somewhere because we're here talking about it. So we have made progress. It's just perhaps it's not the correct progress, but we have made progress because it wouldn't be on the agenda if we hadn't. And so I just hate to see the idea of us lose the momentum. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you, Counselor Heenan. Anyone else? Counselor Blanchard?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. I agree with Councillor Harland in the sense that I think this is a discussion for the new council to be a part of, that they need to be a part of. I understand in terms of the momentum and things like that, but at the same time, I don't think there's any reason the public can't continue to provide feedback, right? So I think we want to make that clear. Like the town, just because there's a new council coming in and this council potentially, is moving out, Town staff is still here working, 5 days a week. So they're still available to take information, to take feedback. Letters can still come into the town office. So, and all that stuff will be, maintained, kept together, and be provided. And the new council will be briefed on all that information. It is going to take some time for them to get up to speed, no doubt about it. But that's part of the role, part of the job, and part of what they're signing up for when they put their name forward. And people should be putting their name forward. We'll put a little plug in for that. But yeah, I think this is a discussion for the new council. So as much as I don't want to see things sort of fall by the wayside, there's still an opportunity for people to put those things forward. But new council needs to be involved in those discussions.
Thank you, Councillor Blanchard. Anyone else? Deputy Mayor Neil?
Yep, thanks, Mayor Akji. Again, I agree with everything I'm hearing. Absolutely, I think this is going to be decided by the next council, so they should definitely be involved in that process. But perhaps, again, to Councillor Weir's point, there's no harm in perhaps giving staff the direction to maybe start soliciting interest in that focus group. If we could get a few community members from all 3 wards together that are willing to devote some time to this, I don't see any harm in them continuing on. I mean, it's going to take a little time to get that committee formed. But if that's the route we want to take, then I could see us moving ahead with that. Again, they're probably going to be presenting to a new council, but they may as well get going.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Neil and Councillor Gomichelle.
Thank you, Worship. I'm not sure who it was who said that we wouldn't have time to finish this process. But no, I certainly wouldn't be the one to say I told you so, but I do think that I might have had the same birdie in my ear today, talking about the possibility of an advisory board. And I do find that intriguing, and it's a good way to keep things moving regardless of who's at this table. We can continue to move the file forward. So I'm hearing in between the lines, reading in between the lines sounds like we're going to table this. So I'd make that motion if someone needs to make it. There's no motion on the.
There's no motion, so there's no tabling. It's just a discussion as to what we want to direct staff to do. Councillor Bennett, or no, Councillor Heenan, do you have anything extra? And Councillor Bennett hasn't had an opportunity. So Councillor Bennett, you are first.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I think I'm in line with most of the councillors here, tabling this to the next council, and more community engagement is certainly a huge part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Now, Councillor Heenan.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Worship. I just wanted to reiterate something Councillor Blanchard said, that I want to make sure that people know they can still continue to send in their comments, their feedback, that they will always be processed. This council will, of course, have the feedback till a certain date, and then the new council. But don't give up on sending in your feedback. Do not, because it's very important, and it will always, as we said, the town staff is there. They will receive it. It will be filed. So please keep it coming. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Heenan. Councillor Harland.
While I still believe that the new council needs to be very involved in this, the idea of an advisory committee would take some time. And I think for staff to begin that process with some discussion with the planners, and perhaps with discussion around with folks around this table, perhaps we could put it on the agenda for the staff-led meeting. Because I think that an advisory committee needs a structure in order to be effective. And what based on what we've heard from people, what are the areas that we think need more specific consultation? So for example, we heard at the last meeting, public hearing, we heard a number of people talk about a mission and vision, and we heard Alex talk about the fact that that in and of itself is a fairly extensive process to establish, or the vision for St. Andrews. So, putting some flesh around what an advisory committee might look like and how they might proceed. That work could happen now and be ready for the next council.
Thank you. Councillor Harland. Anyone else? Councillor Weir.
To add one more comment, and again, it's about the momentum. I think unless we have public engagement in the form of meetings, it's very hard to have public engagement by letters going back and forth or emails, as we now use. And if there's no meetings, people are going to forget about it for the summer. And if we could have a periodic get together, informal, to keep people thinking about it, keep communicating with council, I think that's serves as great a purpose as the information we gather. It's to keep the public engaged, because they aren't going to be engaged unless there's public meetings or that type of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Weir. I have a question. Can I ask a question? Can someone put their name forth for this focus group at any point in time? And does it go into, because we may not be there as the council, but it could go into staff, could it not? And you would have the advice of the planners as well.
If I may, Your Worship, I think Councillor Harland hit something important on the head, is that we've got to set the scope of this committee before. And the only reason being is because back maybe 2 versions ago, we had an advisory committee, but they basically created the document. And so is that what we're going to give this next
That's all.
the advisory committee? I heard Councillor Weir say, and I like his, maybe a body that
Yes.
will sit in, that will agree to sit in on the public engagements or help us figure out public engagements.
Mr. Henderson has a
Oh, yeah.
response. So, Mr. Henderson, thank you for staying with us. And
Yes.
you-
Oh, my camera's off here. Sorry about that.
It's okay. We know what you look like.
Yeah.
Yes. So just to Chris's point and Councilor Harlan's point, yeah, forming a steering committee has happened in St. Andrews history, and we were involved with one. And one of the things that we also got to keep in mind is the act has actually since changed since 2018, 2019, when there was a steering committee. At the time, there was a process where the steering committee essentially wordsmithed every provision of the bylaw, and that simply can't happen under the new legislation. Registered professional planners have to be involved with the drafting. It doesn't mean that it is a document which planners only are involved with passing. Obviously, whatever we put forward has to be amended or revised by council. That's where the amendments take place. So I would say one of the challenges with the steering committee model is, as Councillor Harland pointed out, the formation, the terms of references, the appointments, the selection. It itself is a 6-month process potentially. One thing to note, though, if there was this sort of focus on different aspects of the plan, which we heard from the public were lacking, vision, mission, the objectives, some of the value statements within the policies themselves, or other more guidance regarding developments and developments that people want to see. Yet these things would benefit from having additional consultations and having certain members, let's say, of council or even the PAC itself. Let's not forget the PAC, the Planning Advisory Committee. Its legal function not only is to approve things like variances, which you often would think of the Planning Advisory Committee of doing, but the Planning Advisory Committee has general powers to just advise council on planning matters, and also can be assigned jobs by council as council directs. So one of the benefits of the PAC is they're already appointed members. They have a code of conduct that they have to abide by in all their actions with the public. and looking at members of the PAC, and maybe it's a subcommittee of that deals with certain topics. That may be one option of having a quick, handy list of candidates for certain topics you want to do deep dives of consultation on. But yeah, it's something which I wouldn't just form a steering committee and then get the idea that they're going to rewrite the bylaw from scratch. It's more complicated than that.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Spear, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think maybe we're meeting with the planners on Friday morning or afternoon, and maybe we can put together a plan maybe, so the momentum isn't lost, but how to engage the public, maybe as Mr. Henderson said, involve the PAC and see if we can come up with kind of a structure, and we can do it over the election stuff. I guess the other thing I was going to say too is even if you form an advisory committee, by the time they get up to date, the new council will be, I don't know if I agree with Alex, it's going to take 6 months to get the advisory committee appointed, but it certainly isn't a 3-week process. It'll be
No.
at least 2 to 3 months because, set the scope and then taking applications, and the next council will have to be the one to appoint them anyway. So I think it's a good idea. I just think we have to get focused. So why don't you leave it to staff, and including the planners, to see if we can come up with a general framework, what we think might work. And then we can present it to you at the staff-led meeting on Monday or Monday, and then talk about it a bit more, get your, honestly, what you'd probably say is, yeah, we like that framework, present it to the next council as a starting point. Or you could approve some of the, if we say, well, we want to hold 2 consultation sessions in May, I know things can change, but looking at the elections, half this council's already on the list of those that have put their names up uncontested in a couple of places. So I know that could all change, but I don't, I'm not assuming we're going to have 100% turnaround of people that were scratch. So I think council, my expectation is by early June, the council with some additional new members can be brought up to snuff and move forward. If we get a whole bunch of names and I'm surprised and there's a big turnover, then that could slow things down a bit. But as of right now, I'd say, we'll have a representation of the current members on the next council that can help move things along and provide input and backdate to any new members that join us.
Thank you, Mr. Spear. Any further discussion? So I think, the focus group, and you'll be working on that. So if that's okay, council, that's what they will do. All right. So that is that. New business? No new business. Question period. Online?
If anyone on the Zoom call would like to comment for question period, please raise your hand or let us know in the chat. Yeah, we do have one.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lee.
Can't hear.
If we
Lee?
can't hear you, Lee, maybe.
You're maybe
She's
muted.
not muted. Microphone working? Oh, still no sound from you there, Lee.
Lee, if you want to take a minute and type in something on the chat, we can read it to council. If we can't get your microphone working.
So while she's doing that, can we do the audience? Any questions? You have anything from the audience? No?
And there are no emails coming in.
Okay. So we're just waiting to see what Ms. Sokoski said.
Council, or sorry, your worship, maybe we work through the rest of the thing.
I was going to say.
We can have a quick pause before we go into closed session to see if Ms. Zakaski can get on.
Okay, so the next is councilors and deputy mayor's comments. Counselor Heenan?
Wouldn't be an evening without me saying something, I'm sure. I just want to send out a big congratulations and a huge thank you to the group that worked on Passamaquoddy. I believe that those people worked relentlessly on their job and their responsibility to this community, and they really need to be applauded. They've never given up. It's been a great, great success, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Worship.
Anyone else? Yeah, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just take a moment to thank the Kiwanis Club for again hosting their annual Easter egg hunt at the fire department here. And again, thank the volunteers that came out just to prepare the station. Despite the weather, it was very well attended, I'd say. And again, I would definitely call it a success and just want to thank them for their planning and hard work.
Excellent. We have a great fire department anyway. Anyone else? Oh, Counselor Harland.
I just want to put a plug in to anyone who is thinking about but has not yet submitted nomination papers as a councillor or mayor for the town of St. Andrews. This really is a very unique opportunity to be involved in the direction of this town. And I encourage people, anyone who may be thinking about it, to submit that nomination paper before 2:00 on Friday. That's the deadline. But if anyone has any questions about the process, I know staff are certainly very prepared to answer any questions or discuss the roles of councillor and mayor. The returning office in St. Stephen, they are phenomenal in terms of answering any questions. And I think any councillor around this table would be prepared to speak with anyone around our experience as a council or as a councillor. So I just really encourage people to think about it. It really is a unique opportunity. Thank you.
Anyone else? Counselor Weir.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering if perhaps the next regular council meeting, we could put an item on the agenda. Many of us have questions on certain things that have arisen over the last couple of years, and we don't have complete answers. And prior to ending our term, it would be nice to be able to get a bunch of things crossed off our list and stop wondering about, certain things. I've always got things on my list. There's not always the opportunity to present it on the agenda, and I'm not comfortable bringing things up at the last minute during councilors' comments.
Oh, there she is. Sorry.
And so, we could just get an agenda item where people could sort of, for lack of a better word, make closing, not comments, but ask some closing questions or get some information so they can close their files properly.
Just a
Thank you.
question. Would you like those beforehand? Like,
Well, I was wondering if we could maybe open it up for the staff-led meeting. You
Yeah.
don't even have to get into debate. It's just, so
Yeah.
if you had questions, council or staff can prepare updates or look to see where it ended up instead of trying to answer it in the
the
call.
last minute. Thank you, Mr. Spear. All right, we are in the mayor's comments, but I will stop because I think you need to speak first. So, you catch your breath? You all right? Okay, so you're okay to speak now? Okay, thank you very much.
Sent a chat, but apparently it didn't come through. Anyway, I want to thank you for your discussion on the municipal plan. I think, there've been some great gains made. There's some work needs to be done. I don't think, setting up a committee and having it function would take as many months as has been suggested tonight in my professional experience. I think there are people who are willing to get going on this, and make even a proposal to you for how it might work in conjunction with the staff and planners. And if you need something by Friday, we could probably get it together. But I think, definitely, and Councilor Weir pointed out that we need to have more of a dialogue. And I think at this point, we need to, rebuild some trust and public engagement. That's the part that will take a little bit of time, but doing that at the ward level to start, with some conversations, not a real formal process. But this would lay the groundwork for then making revisions to the plan you have and making it work better for the town. So I think that could start fairly soon, more as an informal process, but would lay the framework for getting the plan we need. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sokowski. These are great ideas. All right. The mayor's comment. So first of all, I'd like to thank, I've only been a little over a year mayor. I guess I will be a year in May. And I'd like to thank the council for supporting me when I had to be supported and correcting me when I needed to be corrected and pushing me the way I was supposed to go. So thank you very much for being behind me. I'd like to thank the people of the municipality of St. Andrews because I've gotten a lot of support no matter what is being done. And we have great citizens, we have great people, we have a great council, and I hope that it will continue. And as Councillor Harlan said, we do need people to come forward. So if you're thinking, get in touch with anyone that's on council now or the staff. Please talk to them. If you even have an inkling that you want to do this, then do it. As I say, I want to thank you for the support for the food banks. I took over another big load of bags and they were so happy today. So thank you again for the support that we've had for them. They're just, they're getting reset after the fire, so things are going on well. And that is the end of our open session. We will be going into closed session at 7:48. And so I need to read this first. That at 7:48 p.m., council moves into closed session per Local Governance Act, Section 68 1B. Personal information is defined in the right to Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And do I have to read all of the things that we're discussing? No. And so we will be moving into that as soon as CHCO. And thank you, CHCO, for all your support for our council meetings and being here when we need you, and then setting up the webinar and everything else that you do. We certainly appreciate your work behind the scenes. All right, so all those in favor for going into closed session, say aye. Contrary mind, whoops, sorry.
We need a motion and a
Oh,
second.
sorry, we need a motion. I didn't get the motion. All right. Councillor Gumashell, seconder. Councillor Bennett. Now we need to go for the vote. All those in favor of going into closed session? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. So we are now done and into closed session.